Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is simply here to help answer the question, how do I order this sliding door lock from Adams Rite? First of all, there are people that need only the parts and just need a way to be able to buy an exterior escutcheon with or without a key, an interior escutcheon, maybe the lock body only, maybe the knob only for the inside, perhaps the screws only. So, and all those parts are really available, as is the replacement cylinder if you have a 4431 or a 4190. And then there are those folks that want the entire lock or need the entire lock. You have a situation where you're either doing a new installation and need to order the entire lock, or you have a situation that you're replacing a current installation of hardware. Now in that instance where you want to replace everything of the existing, I caution you to say, check it out. Do you really need everything? Adams Rite is really good about selling just replacement parts, and it's a reason that it's the primary reason that I'm partial to Adams Rite, because of the availability of replacement parts. But you might be in a situation where you know you need the entire lock, or just simply want the entire lock. Now, assuming that that's the case, here we go. On the item that you are looking at, there is going to be a link to either the template or cut sheet or catalog page, whatever it is. Regardless of the case, on the bottom of the second page in the left-hand side, there's going to be a matrix called How to Order, and it's very simple. This matrix, this logic by which Adams Rite builds all their part numbers, they're through their entire line, so it's nice and easy to be able to understand how Adams Rite works. Now, specifically on the sliding door locks, first question you need to know, is there a cylinder or is there not? If there is no cylinder, your part number is going to be a 4430 or a 4431. Now, I've mentioned this already, the difference between these two part numbers is simply the 4430 or 4431 series is going to simply feature a plastic escutcheon plate. And that's the only difference between that and the 4189 or the 4190. The 4189 and 4190 series has metal escutcheons. So if you have metal escutcheons or want them, you need to be talking about the first numbers as either a 4189 or a 4190. Those bigger numbers have the metal, the smaller numbers have the plastic escutcheons, and those are by far much more common, the plastic escutcheons. So, is there a cylinder? If there is not, then your part number is either 4430 or a 4189. No exterior cylinder. Is it an actual operating unit with a lock in the edge of the door and a trim on the inside? Or is it just a dummy only? Meaning you might have a pair of doors that bipart and slide, and one door will have the lock, the cylinder, etc., or the lock. The other will just be a dummy to match. This application I've seen in a home in a coastal area, and there's a lanai. Obviously in Florida, those homes are full of those, where you've got sliding doors to get out to the lanai. Those, you might have four doors, and the inner two that actually lock together. That inactive one, or the one without the lock, could have a dummy. So if you have a dummy, then your part number becomes 4432 or 4189 if it's metal escutcheons. If you have a cylinder, that's going to be either a 4431 or a 4190. Period. Now, keep track of that. That's your first part of the part number. Put a dash after those 4 digits. And by the way, if you have any questions on this at any time, just feel free to reach out to us. Now, the next question is, there is going to be a lock in the edge of the door. That lock in the edge of the door, when you look at the edge of the door, is either going to have a square top to the top of the lock and the bottom of the lock, or it will be rounded, called radiused. That's the next set of numbers. If it's a dummy, then it'll be -00 for either lock, meaning that there is no lock in the edge. So you'll have 4 numbers -00. If you have a radiused lock body, the next 2 numbers will be 09. If that lock body is, or you want it to be in stainless steel, coastal area people, stainless steel, that's a 09S. That's your next set of numbers. If your lock body is square, that next set of numbers is 10, or 10S if you want stainless steel. Keep that and write that down. Now you're halfway there. The next thing, and really the most critical thing that everyone needs to actually check all the time, without exception, is how thick is the door? What is the actual thickness of that door? Okay, what is the style thickness they call it? But it's just the door thickness. If your door is between 1 inch and 1 5/16, for the plastic escutcheons, the next two numbers are 0, 0. For plastic escutcheons, if your thickness is between 1 3/8 and 1 5/8, you've got an 0.5 there. And if your door is from 1 3/4 to 2 inch, that's a number. That number's an 0.8. If you have metal escutcheons, and I'm looking at the template because I don't have all this memorized. If you're between 1 inch and 1 3/8, then you have a 0.1. If you're between 1 7/16 and 1 5/8, that part number is then a 0.2. If your thickness is between 1 11/16 and 2 inch, then you've got a 0.3. Now, if you have plastic escutcheons, the last thing you need to do is to tell us the cylinder option. If you do not have a cylinder, it's a dummy or one without a cylinder. The last part of the part number is 0, 0. You put a dash 0, 0. If you are ordering one of these, then your part number will be dash 01 if you have a cylinder or a key operated unit like a 4431. Now we're talking plastic escutcheons only. If you were to order these in multiples of 2 for some reason, like you had 4, and you wanted them to be keyed alike in pairs, you can order these from the factory as a 02, and that would give you multiples of 2 keyed alike. If you ordered 10, let's say you had 5 condo buildings and you had 2 sets of sliding doors on each, wanted all of them to be keyed differently, you could order 02, and that would give you multiples of 2 keyed alike. If you were doing a giant facility and you needed all of them keyed alike, you could order them in multiples of 50. If you went dash 50, and that would give you multiples of 50 keyed alike. That's a relatively random sort of structure, but Adams Rite needs to set that up somehow, keying how many come keyed alike. We can help you with keying on that stuff. Feel free to reach out to us. At the very end, to finish off the plastic escutcheons, put dash I as in India, B as in Bravo at the end. Then you've got your part number. By far the most common sort of structure is a 4431-09-00-01. That's going to be a trim with a cylinder, radiused lock for an 1.1" thick door, keyed differently. Very common. Now, to the metal escutcheons. We're done with the plastic escutcheons. That's all of it. Metal escutcheons, after you have the style thickness, the 01, the 02, or the 03, the final thing is, well, almost the final thing, is what finish do you want those metal escutcheons in? Do you want a 130 finish? That would be like a sprayed aluminum finish. Do you want a 121 finish, which is a sprayed dark bronze? Or do you want a 119 finish, which is like a 335 black sort of anodized finish? So aluminum, dark bronze, or black. Those are your 130, 121, 119. Those are your part numbers there. Then after that, you're going to go back to the same 00 if there's no cylinder, 01 if the cylinder is keyed differently, 02 if you've got multiples of 2 keyed alike, 50 if it's multiples of 50 keyed alike. Then put a dash, I is in India, B is in Bravo. That's the full part number. So the crucial thing is going to be, do you have a cylinder, yes or no? Is that lock body radiused, yes or no? What's the thickness of the door? After that, I really don't need to know anything else, except the other possibilities of function and trim design. But door thickness, lock body treatment, square or radius, and then knowing the function of the lock. A lot of boats have these, believe it or not. Doors from the deck to the cabin have these all the time. Those doors are 1 inch, very commonly, 1.1". Homes, as described earlier, etc., etc. Adams Rite, like I said earlier, I'm partial to them because you can get replacement parts and the materials of excellent quality, backed up by excellent customer service and equally excellent technical support. Any questions on the Adams Rite 4430/31 or 4189/90 series sliding door locks or how to order them, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.